for 23 years. All right. For those of you paying attention, my name's Joe Houtman.
Hello and welcome to Time to Be Reasonable. And we've been following the LNC convention, as you can hear behind me. But let me do everybody a favor. We'll try and pay some attention to it, but it could get real busy real quick. So mute that. But tonight, as I had, we have a special guest, James Ogle, and we got some technical issues.
Pleased to be here from Pacific Grove, California. Hello, everybody.
And so, James, have you been watching the convention all day today?
Well, I would like to have. I didn't know exactly how to find the URL. I think I saw it posted somewhere. I've been so busy. I'm running as a write-in for Lieutenant Governor, and the California Secretary of State just released the certified names today, of which my name was one of them. And so I've been copying that and posting it. There's about maybe 20 write-in names for the June 7th convention coming up. And 125 names vying for 13 at-large state seats. So it's, I've been working on that this year.
At-large state seats? What do you mean by that?
Well, like for the whole state, governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, there's 4 Board of Equalization districts and U.S. senator. So of the 13 at large, one of them is a federal, the U.S. senator. The other 12 are within, California at large for the whole state. So there's 13 total. So I've been emailing all the candidates. We elected the top 3 5-party slates. So there's 3 women running for governor and 23 men. So we created these top 3 slates on the women's tickets, distributing all the other seats from 5 different parties through them, and then contacting all the parties, holding debates, and we had one today.
I see. Now, how does that work? As far as like actual, like California government, exactly?
Well, it's, Libertarian Party are more outsiders. And so, for example, when I ran for president with the Libertarian Party in 2020, I spoke at the Los Angeles Libertarian Party meeting, Region 62, and a woman who spoke there, Marie Mandel, she also spoke, and we became friends, and so forth. And now she's running for one of those 13 seats. So it turns out she's running against 2 Democratic Party members, and she's on the ballot. So it is a competition, like, the primary is June 7th. So of those 13 at-large seats, she could win one of the 13, if she could get more votes than the 2 male Democratic candidates. It should be part of government.
Right. I'm just trying to understand, because I know, like, I understand if you're running for write-in candidate for governor, that I get, and that means that, so if people want to vote for you for governor, then they can go and write you in, and they have to make sure that they get your full name, right? Okay. And you're actually certified with the state to run as a candidate for governor?
No, for lieutenant governor. So
for lieutenant governor. Okay, yeah, for lieutenant governor. Okay.
Yeah. So there is one gubernatorial write-in. There's one lieutenant gubernatorial write-in. That's me. And so, because I've been working with all the ballot qualified candidates, we're trying to promote write-in names, working with ballot qualified names, equal time and equal treatment.
Okay.
So we're in these debates, certain candidates who are favorable towards, free speech and equal time and equal treatment. They work with us, and then the observers can see and decide for themselves. When, if they see good team players, we promote their names. For example, of the 3 women candidates, the Republican was less, forthcoming. She didn't really respond to phone calls or email. The no party preference was a lot more active and, did respond. And then the Green Party candidate, she actually filled out a questionnaire using a special ranked choice voting system for decision items. And then that factored into the whole team. It's like an electoral college. So, when we post her ballot with her signature, then people can see she's, we have a tool for working together. And other members, like Republicans, they also voted on a paper ballot for names. And so different paper ballots for either names or decision items by the whole team. It might be microscopic, only 2 or 3 of them, but when we send it to the whole team, it's like information that they can use.
Sure. So,
some of these items are very important. Like, there's 26 items front and back on the Unity platform. If you talk 1 minute about each item, that's almost 30 minutes with a break in between each one. So as, year after year, certain items rise to the top, like Equal Rights Amendment. Now suddenly it's remove the timeline for, remove the time limit on the Equal Rights Amendment. So you can keep improving it. And if only 1/26 of the voters want to approve, remove the timeline on the Equal Rights Amendment, then it goes on the next year's ballot, and as well as the current one, which is just Equal Rights Amendment. And one person voted do not approve the Equal Rights Amendment. So you get all sides kind of represented. And then at the end of the year, any item that got 50% plus 1 is considered approved by the whole team. So it's a way to, we can approve decision items, platform items, bylaws, corporate bylaws, political bylaws, as quickly as people can rank them. And then the best ones rise to the top. The worst bylaw items kind of fall off if they don't get 50% plus 1.
I see. So what are your current thoughts about, like what's going on the national stage with the Libertarian Party?
Well, I'm only working on the ranked choice voting under pure proportional representation electoral college. And so some libertarians I'm able to connect with. There's only 54 electors in California. So there might be 6 or 7 political parties on that electoral college. So the closest ones to the libertarian who are on that is that, the Marie Mandel, who I told you about. I met her at a Libertarian Party meeting. So, I'm only trying to work on that, pure proportional representation, because if you work in the Libertarian Party system, it blocks out new ideas and new people.
Okay.
Because it doesn't use proportional representation. So unless we can somehow, all the seats, like the chair, secretary, etc., as single winner districts, that creates a systemic racist system where only the biggest majority elects each one at a time. Say white people, for example. So you don't, it's called winner take all. If you have any minority interest group within the Libertarian Party, they get blocked out under that system. So it's hard to really engage, with that kind of a system. So I just have to focus on what I do, just work on my own team. And when we can join with Libertarian Party in certain cases, but I don't know when. I can't predict it. So the whole fighting, the different factions within the Libertarian Party, for example, Karen Harless represents women, but yeah, they're only 18% of the Libertarian Party electors, according to the Federal Elections Commission, archives.gov. They post all the names of all the electors, and only 18% of them had women's names. So you have a women's faction, about 18% of the elector college. They can't nominate either president or vice president, because Libertarian Party uses, just like U.S. Constitution, you get 2 votes. So whoever is the 82%, first they nominate president, then they have a second vote, they nominate vice president. So you also have maybe the Mises Caucus and the Fakertarians, who are sort of at odds with each other. Joe Bishop Hinchman, married gay male, who resigned last year, forced to resign, and Karen. And so you have these factions that want to vie, but it's not proportional. So one side always gets everything, and it doesn't lend itself to working together, because when there's only one winner, that's like a dictatorship. They're going to dictate to everybody. But if you do it as a team, by committee, 3 to 5 winners, then you have, for example, 3 senators is better than 2 senators. Because then you have you can break the tie, a 2/3 vote. So that's what we need, is a minimum of 3 or more. It's team psychology. So 3 heads are smarter than 1.
So that's a system you're working towards, but it's not a system that is in place at the moment, correct?
Yeah, it's not in Robert's Rules of Order, because Robert's Rules of Order was 1800s. Robert was a military man in the U.S. They didn't have the new system was 1900, developed by Swiss physicist Edward Hagenbach Bischoff. Limited voting, like I was describing. That's like competitive democracy. So it's not in the Constitution, nor is it in Robert's Rules of Order.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's not our current system. It's a system you're trying to put into place, correct?
Yeah, so my company uses it. We've been using it for about 12 years. It works incredibly well. And then I do we sustain all these little splinter parties. Like I'm with the One Party. We started as the Environmentalist Party in 1983. So Clint Eastwood ran against us in 86. So a lot of little splinter parties like Rosanarchist Party. But now we have Greens and Libertarians. And see, the Green Party is a lot like the Libertarian Party. They're split. There's a male for governor and a woman for governor and a male for governor. And the party bosses kind of picked the male and also the male for senator. So there's actually a woman for senator too. And she feels really sort of, blocked out by the Green Party. It's a lot like the Libertarian Party where one side kind of, it's a fighting back and forth.
Interesting.
So, the Green Party is trying. They did adopt proportional representation on a limited scale, like they work with the Peace and Freedom Party in California. I don't know, you know about the Peace and Freedom Party? The Libertarian Party actually split off from them. But anyway, so the Green and the Peace and Freedom tickets on the state level are working together. But when I call their chair or former chair, like Kevin Aiken of the Libertarian Party in Riverside, or Jenny Woodward, co-founder of the Green Party up in San Francisco, I talk to them. I go, hey, do you want to work with all parties? I'm with the One Party. I'm working with the Democrat, the Green, Libertarian. And they go, no, we don't. We only want to work with leftists. And so I tell them, look, if you don't know how to work with people not like you, you don't know about proportional representation, because you have to let everybody win, even if they're not like you. You can't just say only lefts can win, only the left can win. You have to be able to work with, to count under proportional representation. You have to protect and make sure everybody gets represented. So they don't, even though they're trying to use it, they still don't get it. So they can't, they're still divided, power struggles within, because you have to keep it pure. You have to elect all at-large seats simultaneously. No other way. So you can't just do one seat at a time like the Libertarian and the Green do. Mm-hmm. You have to elect all seats, and then each seat, like chair, vice chair, treasurer, people can pick them one at a time. The top ranked picks first. They may, so it's a new system. I've been doing it for 30 years now, so I know it works really good. And it's like a sort of self-perfecting, self-correcting through the voting. Like when you don't expect it, people's votes kind of show you the way, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, you're not. So I'm looking right here at your documentation, and it does say no party preference. So you're running for lieutenant governor, but you're not running. You're not running Libertarian this year.
Yeah, I'm running right now for lieutenant governor, and I'm working with, like I said, 125 statewide candidates, and I'm adding there's 54 congressional districts, so there'll be 108 winners under top 2. So I just got all their email lists for all of them. I don't know how many there are before top 2, way over 108. So we can easily email all the congressional candidates, within the next few days before. So my campaign, it's not over. I'm a write-in right now for June 7th.
No, I know. I'm looking right at it. Yeah. And, that's your primary, right? So.
Huh?
That's the primary, right? So you have to get.
Yes, it's the primary. There's 8 candidates that are on the ballot. So if they all got the same, I'd need about 1/9 plus a couple of votes if they all got 1/9 of the votes each. Mm-hmm. So there is a way to do it, but it's not so much about me winning as much as it is getting this idea and the concept forward. And by working with all these candidates, they see it sort of working. So yeah, there's still some hope even after 30 years. We have a C Corp. I don't know if you saw it, the allpartysystem.com, 80 million shares. And, it's a minimum order of $1, but you get like 450 shares. So we're selling almost 10,000 shares. We've already sold a couple of thousand at our annual board meeting, July 10th. So if anybody wants to, you can buy shares like $1 minimum, and then we split all the shares using the hair quota for our IPO, July 10th. So everybody gets a certain proportion.
What's the name? What's the name of the corporation?
It's a C Corp, Delaware C Corp.
Oh, Delaware.
It's allpartysystem.com.
All party.
allpartysystem.com. And so when you look at like a lot of my web pages, like oneogle.com, I've got about 6 or 7, usparliament.org, allpartysystem.com. We have like an investor relations, and we have 5 or 6 people who bought shares, little portfolio, they can, buy and sell and so forth. And because we're a startup, they're called restricted shares. That we don't have to file like a lot of forms for every share, when you're a startup. But there are certain restrictions. They can't be resold for about 3 years until after the next presidential election. So, but we control the price. They go up and down, and so we still have a little hope, on the business too. So, if people, our board members, we actually have board members from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. Like if you look at the site, if you ever do, on the CEO think tank, if you click on that, you can see all the poetry our former CEO wrote before he died, October 29th, 2021, CEO Buck Rogers. Incredible writer. He was this brigadier general with the United Nations for London. And a lot of the poetry was written, about our struggles, and trying to make elections fair for, third-party competition and so forth.
It says here, I'm looking at it, unless this is something different, that, I don't know, the current CEOs, or there's 4 CEOs, and some of them are already dead. But Gabby Eva Espinosa?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you're looking at the board members? Yeah, she is a write-in, she was a write-in Libertarian presidential candidate in 2020. I see a lot of libertarians don't know, but there was actually about, I think it was around 66 libertarian presidential candidates. About 10 of them were women, including at least 4 African-American women from Texas. Mm-hmm. And Gabby Espinosa was a write-in from California. She is Indonesian Christian conquistador.
Oh, okay.
Libertarian goo.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was helping her. I thought she was going to run for governor with me. But she wasn't on the write-ins.
What is a libertarian goo?
Goo is gag order observation.
Meaning what?
Gag order meaning not talking about it. That's her party name. She wanted it to be libertarian goo. It has to do with a legal position, I guess. Gag order observation.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So she requested me to, help her set that up. So I did. It's actually a registered party with the Federal Elections Commission.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
But we don't have to file any papers because there's no other money involved or anything.
I see.
But it's part of the research. A lot of these, when you run for office, you have to file a lot of forms, and that happened in California. See, when I started with the Democratic Party running for lieutenant governor, I had to file with the FPPC of California, but I couldn't really accept money unless I had my ID number. They never gave it to me. So I just fell back on my federal elections ID number. That's what I use now. But you have to have some sort of, political accountability for your, donations if you get any, either on the state or the federal. So that's part of what the Libertarian Goo was about, was just getting all the forms and trying to get, recognized and to be legal and everything.
I get you. Okay. Well, kind of running out of time, and I want to cover a little bit of the convention tonight. But did you have anything?
Covering it.
Sure. Did you have anything you wanted to share before you go?
No, nothing. If people could write in my name. Actually, what I'm trying to ask all the voters, if anybody is listening to this, including you, men to write in a woman's name for lieutenant governor, either Petra Kelly or Ashley Babette, and women to write in my name, James Ogle, Ogle. That way, since I'm a certified write-in, women's votes will elect a name, and because Ashley Babbitt and Petra Kelly they're dead now, they're not going to be registering, so men's votes won't elect a woman's name for lieutenant governor. But if you want to vote for someone else, you can.
Oh, I see.
It's just optional.
All right.
Okay, thanks so much. Thanks so much for this opportunity. I appreciate your interest in what you're doing. I hope you get some listeners out there, and can't wait to see what happens at the convention.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.
Okay, thanks again. Bye.
Well, that was James Ogle, everybody, and I wanted to. I had to cut that off because I just want to see kind of what's going on, and talk a little bit about what's been going on all day on the convention floor, and like I don't know if it's shenanigans. Some people think it's shenanigans, but I think some of it is also just people that might be ill prepared, or are just learning the ropes of being a delegate. It took a long time to certify, and that was definitely a thing, was getting that certification done, but it did get done. And okay. But so that went through. Right now they're having the debates. Let me see who's speaking.
World where he doesn't take that phone call. Not to mention, one of my first actions, I think, is to try to find a great deputy treasurer, which Kate, I'm looking for. So I'm looking for a great deputy treasurer.
But there's been a lot of different motions, and a lot of the counting ended up taking a little bit of time. Got to see Justin Amash speak today. He had some interesting things to say. He had the Mrs. Institute, one of the Institute books, called Liberalism. So if you want to check that out, it'd be a good idea. And I'm always for learning anything about any philosophy of politics or otherwise. So it's always good to learn that.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I wish I could explain what I kind of understand what James is talking about. Being a gamer, I almost kind of wonder if I don't know. He's bringing different people into these different systems, I guess, which is interesting. And he actually is certified for writing candidate for lieutenant governor, and you could totally vote for him if you wanted to.
A man in Minneapolis was murdered by police. His name was George Floyd. Do Black Lives Matter?
Oh wow, people are leaving.
Okay, thank you. So, folks, with that, this is now officially the end of whatever the hell they have called this thing that we have done. Yes, the Spike Cohen Show featuring the DC candidates. Yes. This has been a Muddy Waters Media production. No, folks,
because
for being a part of this.
And that's Spike, and it's interesting, and we'll keep you abreast. Probably have a little bit more of a rundown next week on Friday. It's been interesting. It looks like Spike is done with the vice chair candidates, and I didn't really get a chance to hear what Josh Smith had to say. Yeah, it's interesting, and like I said, with James, you can actually vote for him as a write-in, which I was surprised. I had to look at some of this stuff, and you can go on to his all-party system, which I'm going to try and share as a visual. I think I can. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, banners. Here we go. Here's a banner right here for James. Nope. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired that I didn't grab the right banner. Or no, I guess I did, but I didn't control copy. There we go. Now I should be able to put that on the StreamYard, no problem. Control V. And add the banner here. And there we go. Allpartysystem.com, and then you can find out more about his system and what he's got going, because I couldn't for the life of me explain it. I've had, if you've been following me throughout the day, I've had 2 interviews, and James was my last. And as you can hear, I'm have a little bit of of kind of a cold thing going on, so I am going to let you go for the evening, and thank you for tuning in. This has been A Time to Be Reasonable with Frank. Bye, everybody.